It's time for another episode of The Oil Stream with Dustin Nielson and Tom Gazzola, presented by Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen.
12:03 on a Wednesday, and welcome to a festive edition of The Oil Stream, brought to you by Popeyes. We're in the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studio, brought to you by Boston Pizza, brought to you by Cool Bet, and brought to you by One Putt Virtual Golf as well. You can slide on into the Nasty Chat, or of course, like every other day on every other show, you can text us 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. If you missed it earlier on today, here at Edmonton Sports Talk, we did have our annual Christmas draft. I've been doing the lock shop in the last hour. Tommy, I have to ask you, buddy, what's the buzz like around the office?
Lots of buzz. So good.
There's so many people here.
So many people that have stopped by. So many people that have hung out. Good to see some familiar faces. Chelsea is here or was here from the Hive.
Promotional products that bring the buzz.
Yes. Buzz. And good to see her. Obviously, Lucas was in yesterday with Raimai. Really good vibe. And to everybody who's been stopping by, we had Jerry that stopped by earlier. We brought the shot ski and the hey chant.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was fun. And Troy was here. Raider Jesse was here. Yesterday, people were stopping by. It's been really good. So a huge thank you to everybody that has, dropped off treats and gifts and off. Damon Bunting's doing his 12 Days of Christmas, and he has the giveaway that he posted.
Yeah.
I put it on my Instagram as well.
Yeah, I was going to say
to a game.
We got to collab that over at the EST thing. I'm gonna text.
Yeah. So if you didn't see it, I put it on my Instagram. There's it's tickets to a game from Damon Bunting, and then we have some EST merch in there as well. Click into the post for the details. And so the vibe is really good. The Muzz and Marshall and Tam were here. It was good to see Redbeard himself, Scott Laurie. Just lots of fun. So in honor of that, I'm going to crack a 6 o'clocker.
Oh, wow. That's great.
I'm sorry. It's the last one in the fridge. I'm sure we're going to get more.
Well, there's going to be more late tomorrow afternoon or all day Friday at Sobeys and Safeway Liquors. The second run of the 6 o'clocker lager is, in fact, going to be out for the holidays. Huge shout out to Alley Cat for making that happen.
Thank you,
So
guys.
6 o'clocker lager, all Edmonton area stores are getting 10 flats. Some of them are getting 20. The 10 flats, as you know, with the last run, won't necessarily last that long. So just a heads up. You guys have to plug it tomorrow morning on the
we will
on the show as well. Tommy and Glue Guy, Jay Milne in tomorrow morning with YouTube Trev on the show. D. White says, where is the voting for the draft? It's a good question. So who's putting it up?
I'm not sure.
Is the commission? Well, she doesn't have access to our Twitter account.
No.
So one of us is going to have to.
So there might have to be a host of maybe the show that we do.
Is Maddie putting it up?
I don't know. I would just recommend he does.
I would assume Maddie probably puts it up.
It's not commish duties.
I do like
duties.
this one from Mark says, to get Cousin Eddie and Clark back to back is a win, Dusty. Wow. I don't see it. Well, I mean, it should.
Listen, those are good picks, but and Christmas Vacation is a highly touted, well-respected Christmas film. But Wyshynski and others.
Oh, enough of this garbage about. It's called Christmas Vacation. Yeah, they're in other movies. But why all of a sudden, if somebody else got these two guys, everybody would be like, wow, amazing
It dilutes
pick.
it.
It doesn't dilute it at all.
It totally
didn't dilute
dilutes
it in any of the other million drafts that we've done.
It dilutes it.
It only dilutes it because I managed to stack them. You know that's true, Tommy. You know,
I'm not saying they're bad picks. I just feel like it dilutes. I also want to thank Big Maple, who brought in some cards.
Yeah,
for us.
that was really nice.
Like curated, really nice. He got. I have a Vince Carter. I have a Pudge Rodriguez.
There might be more in there too, eh?
Have you
opened them? Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then this one I really like. He respects and appreciates my love for the Cardinals. So I got a Hakeem Butler jersey card, which is awesome.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah, that's a cool one. And then my favorite, there's a J.J. Nelson in here as well. There's another one. And then my favorite is there's a Larry Fitzgerald, one of the best, football players. I think certainly a Hall of Famer and just one of the best people in the game. And Larry Fitz is an awesome guy. There's also Alec Manoa tucked in there. What do we do with that one? What do we do with
Well,
that
I'd
one?
hold it, I guess, for now.
Yeah.
You hope there's some value there.
JJ Nelson signed, by the way.
Oh, that's nice too. Yeah, I
pretty
got
cool.
some autos too. Like,
Yeah.
got the Vladdy. Big
Yeah.
Maple, you're a
Thank you, Big
daisy
Maple.
here, buddy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amir Abdullah patch card. Dalton Varsho auto. LeBron James prism.
That's
Beautiful, love it. RJ Barrett with Duke prism there. Carryon Johnson Origins auto. Love that. Mo Vaughn. And then
Mo
Lieutenant
Vaughn.
Eric got me a couple of Karl Malone cards today too. So.
Yes, he's a great
all in all,
car salesman in the
yeah.
greater Salt Lake area. So big thank you to Big Maple, and the Ivan Rodriguez one is hilarious. So really appreciate that. And then someone dropped off this. I feel like it was Scott Laurie.
No, I think that's from Eric, man. There's
That's
a
from
tag,
Eric?
There's a tag on it. What's it say?
To Tom from Bill Cosby.
That's got to be Eric.
That has to be Eric.
I got one here too. Let's
Oh,
see.
I was gonna open it,
This
but
is here this morning. We got
should
again.
we-
Yeah, too dusty from Bill Cosby.
open or no?
Yeah, we might as well open it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great name.
Listen, we're gonna go into last
This
night's
is a bottle
loss,
of
but-
something.
Yeah, on his birthday, no less. Oh my goodness.
Spice rum for Dusty.
Oh, spice
Which is
rum
good
for
because I
Tommy.
already got through a bottle here.
Yeah, you did.
Beautiful. Look at this. 'Tis the season. Oh, a couple of captains for the boys.
That
There.
Eric on his birthday. What a guy.
Yeah, what a guy. What a nice guy.
So, that's a great way to kick off the first 10 minutes of the show. Thank you to the Nasties and everybody who's tuned in the last 3.5 months. It's been awesome. So, cheers to you. And then let's go and shred that hockey team that calls Edmonton home.
Well, they've switched things up at practice today, so we'll certainly get into that. But we have to start with last night's game, obviously.
Yeah.
780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Portions of the Oil Stream brought to you by Boston Pizza. We actually had Boston Pizza last night in the Nielson household.
Very good.
Mommy was heading out for dinner, so Daddy brought home BPs for the family.
Daddy likes. What'd you guys have?
I had the Thai chicken bites.
As
I'm a
one does.
sucker for Thai chicken bites. Thai chicken bites are great when you're there. They're also great like delivered. They just hold up. In fact, I think they might even better when they get to your house.
I like the dry noodles that come
Yeah, I
with
don't
it.
eat any of that stuff.
I love it.
I don't like the I don't
The
eat
accoutrement.
noodles or all that stuff, but I love the Thai chicken
good.
bites themselves. They're delicious. And then the kids, classic, 2 big kids, bugs and cheese. And yeah, it was a fun night. Boston Pizza, a fun night for the family.
you go.
Santa approved. And $5 off medium pizzas. They got the back-to-backs here, right? So if you're looking to go check it out, $5 off medium pizzas, $1 off tankards of Canadian and Coors Light. I just have to get this list of shots again, too. $5.50 shots of Fireball, Jaeger, Burt Reynolds, Purple Rain, and Honey Jack. And the new, the 1-footer. The 1-footer is out. The square 1-footer pizza.
Yes.
Actually, as I was there last night, some guy came in. He goes, "I'd like to order a pizza to go." And I was sitting there listening. I was like, "Is he going to get the 1-footer?"
Did he?
Like, is that what- and he did.
Excellent.
He did. And I'm sure he absolutely very much enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was nice. So if you want a place to go watch the game or just pick up dinner for the family, you can get it done at Boston Pizza. All right, so what was the vibe like on the post-game show last night, buddy?
Ill-tempered, and understandably so. Now, some of the frustration automatically went to Stuart Skinner. And as Cass and I discussed post-game, we agree. Like, he didn't squeeze the shot on the Andersley rebound.
Snuck through him.
It snuck through him. I would have liked a squeeze on that. 100%. Okay. But goals 2 and 3,
Not on him.
not on him. However, some, not all, a vocal swath of Oiler fans painted those goals as Stuart Skinner
No, they didn't.
issues. Yes, they did.
What?
That's what we said.
You guys. Come
You-
on, man. The first one, yeah, it snuck through him.
Yeah.
He had it. It somehow snuck through.
Yeah.
Tough one. He should have stopped it. But the other goals?
The other goals. And, the point to save percentage, goals against average.
That's BS.
And so that's what we said. And where the Oilers lost the game last night, and I think a good chunk of Oiler fans acknowledge and know this, and goes without saying, but there are some that are blinded and only want to paint and blame certain elements and certain recurring characters. Where they lost the game was on special teams. Their power play went 0 for 4 with an extended 2-man advantage. They gave up a shorty, and their PK allowed 2. Now, the Islanders' power play was clicking at 33.3% since November 13th. It's like best in the league. It had crept up to 7th in the NHL overall. Edmonton came in 4th on the power play in the National Hockey League. The PK of the Islanders, this is the kicker and where it hurts, 32nd in the National Hockey League. And the Oilers had 4 opportunities with an extended 2-man advantage. They didn't convert on any one of them, and they got scored on. That's where the game was lost. Not Stuart Skinner not squeezing one and Anders Lee banging home the garbage on the power play.
I just think these, once again, just to reiterate, people were trying to blame Skinner for the second and third goals.
Yeah.
Okay, so then if you're trying to blame Stuart Skinner for the second and third goals last night, you can never have another goalie take ever again. You want to blame Stuart Skinner for blowing the game against the Tampa Bay Lightning? Obviously,
Fair.
He shit the bed. It was a horrible, horrible third period against the Tampa Bay Lightning, even though I kind of liked him in the first 2 periods of that game. He was awful in the third period of that game. But
Yes.
so let's discuss these goals that you're going to hang on Stuart Skinner in last night's game. Like that makes zero sense to me. The first one, yeah, not good. However, I would say that he made such a ridiculous save on that other cross ice pass that it's even. That one should have been in the back of the net. And he slid across and made an amazing save on that one. Nurse is laying down on his belly trying to block the pass. It's a backhander no look that goes underneath his skate essentially. One timer on the far side. Skinner slides across with straight up robbery. So you're basically even at that point. And then how in the world can you put those last 2 goals on him? One was a 2-on-1 shorthanded that he had no chance on.
Terrible pass by Nugent Hopkins on that play.
Terrible pass by Nuge, and then Bouchard does what everybody, take the shot or take the pass. Don't just stand there and do nothing, which is what he did. So, yes, Stuart Skinner's supposed to stop a one-timer from the other side. And then on the other goal, let's pass the puck to a guy who's wide open, 5 feet in front of the net, and he goes top cheese on him. Skinner got, what's he supposed to do?
That puck got through 2 Oilers sticks, too.
Yeah, if you
Brown
want to,
and
Desharnais. And Desharnais standing there as a giant doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So if you want to have hot takes on goalies, go ahead and have hot takes on goalies. Does the team need an upgrade in net? Sure, they'd love an upgrade in net. But to try to put last night's game on Stuart Skinner, if you have a goalie take moving forward, and that was your take last night, I got no time for it. It's stupid. Those are stupid takes from last night's hockey game. I don't know how anybody could legitimately pop into that game last night, in the post game last night, on a game where they scored 1 goal for the second game in a row and hang that loss on Stuart Skinner. You want to point to his save percentage? Sure. Watch the goals. Watch the goals last night. Those 2 goals aren't on Stuart Skinner. You're ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's insane. I'm sad for the fan base that there's idiots out there trying to hang those 2 goals, a 2-on-1 shorthanded, that's a one-timer, and another one on the power play. The guy's wide open in front of the net because the 2 defensemen have no clue what they're doing and are allowing a pass right through the seam. Hang those on the goalie. You're never going to be happy with a goalie in this city if you're going to hang those types of goals on a goalie. Man, that's ridiculous. It makes no sense to me. It's such a bad look for people who have that take. It's just...
That was last night's postgame show.
That's awful.
Yeah.
That's awful.
That was last night's postgame show.
I'm sorry. If you disagree, I mean, I got no time for it. I mean, blame the Tampa game on him.
Yep.
You can't blame last night's game on Stuart Skinner. It's just, I know you want a new goalie. I get it. I understand the need for it. Another guy that can push Skinner. I get it. Those are good takes.
Yeah.
But to blame the last 2 goals last night on Stuart Skinner are awful hockey takes. They just are.
Spency 5 cents C via the nasty chat. Skinner made 3 big saves in the first. Yep, he did. Jack says even if he saved the first goal, still would have lost 2-1. Yep. They were -3 on special teams yesterday.
Yeah, it's Skinner's fault. The power play sucked.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Joel says they have tunnel vision on Skinner. Yes. That essentially, Joel, that's what we're saying. Is people get the bullseye, the targets, the crosshairs on a certain player, and that's all they focus on, and they don't take a look back. And
they won 8 in a row, and he played in 7 of them, had a .935 save percentage, and nobody even wanted to give him a sniff of the success then.
No, they don't. He did not steal a game for them, but he was good enough in all those games to get the win. He had won 10 of 13 and 7 straight starts until the loss against Tampa.
I saw somebody, because I said, don't hang this on Skinner last night, and one guy came in and said, Dusty, do you not even go to Natural Stat Trick and see expected goals for the game.
I said it yesterday
show
on
these 2 goals. That's not the reason they lost the game, man.
I said it on Winnipeg Sports Talk yesterday. I brought up the expected goals against and Skinner's number. He's like last in the league with that. And I was like, throw that garbage out of here. Like, most of those numbers are skewed from the first 5 weeks of the season, where the team was absolutely
Many of them
crap
are,
in
yeah.
front of them.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, and I'm like, I understand. I acknowledge the expected goals against, above average, or whatever it is. But the majority of that stat on Skinner is from the first 5 weeks of the year, where this team was absolute dog crap in its own zone as a unit. The goalies included. Anyway, that's my commentary on it. That's what you asked, what was the vibe last night? That's what it was.
Yeah.
And
blaming goalies when your team scores 1 goal is ridiculous, because all that means is you expect them to get a shutout. That's it. That's the only way he wins that game last night, is if he gets a shutout. So that doesn't make a lot of sense. I would like to see somebody needs to start giving us expected goals for Stuart Skinner since the coaching change. I would just like to see those numbers. I would assume I think it would paint a little bit of a different picture, and that's what this team is now. So there hasn't been a lot of bad, like the Tampa third period was a bad game from Stuart Skinner. But in the last 11, 9 of which he started, do you remember another game that we would describe as bad from Stuart Skinner? I don't think so. I mean, most of them ended up in wins. Was there a win along the way where he wasn't very good and they picked him up, really? Like,
let me go through
they were
calendar.
winning.
I have to
They
look
were
at the
winning
calendar.
games by scoring 5 goals and allowing less than 2. So I don't feel like there was a lot of games during the winning streak where they're like, "Wow, Skinner blew it for him," but they sure picked him up. I don't think that was the case. Like, and Derek makes a good point. If you get too deep into advanced stats, they will only show you what you want to hear. And that's why I do value them at certain levels. But I also think if you're trying to make a case for something, you can find any sort of stat to back it up. Like nowadays, it's like this is this. Well, we'll go to high danger. Oh, well, let's go to Corsi. Oh, we'll just go here. We'll just go there. There's always ways to have these things get backed up. But watch the game last night. And if you think he's to blame on the second and third goals, then you come to the wrong place, because you're not going to get any sympathy on your take. This is not going to happen.
Yeah, and that's fair. The last game that I could think of where you're like, maybe Skinner should have been a little bit tighter was the Golden Knights game that they won in a shootout back in November.
And the 2-goal lead blown. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's fair.
And Colasar had that ridiculous, batted it out of the air, went off his stick and in. The Hutton
that one he had no chance. That one had the Hutton goal.
The Hutton goal I didn't like.
The Hutton goal. So the 2 goals there.
Yeah.
Should have stopped the Hutton one. Although we had 2 goalies come in on the show and be like, he was in a tough spot with the screen because it was not close enough to him to see around it and not far enough out to pick it up. Yeah. But he still should have stopped that one.
And the Amadio one, I think, was off a face-off where he went.
He was left all alone, and it was backhand up top. I mean, what are you supposed to do when the team breaks down to the point? But the Hutton goal was no good. Mm-hmm. The knock out of the air, he had no chance on. That was just a really nice play. So.
Yeah. And then in the shootout, I believe both shooters just missed the net, and then both Oilers, Nugent Hopkins and McDavid, scored. So that's the last game that when I went through the calendar, I'm like, well, maybe that one. So anyway, and the power play, Dusty, yesterday, really overemphasis on Leon Draisaitl to the point where it was debilitating.
Oh, this is a nice take. I like this.
Yeah.
So actually, it's funny you bring it up, because on the 5-on-3 that then turned into the 5-on-4 when the game was still hanging in the balance.
Totally.
You get a 5-on-3 against the worst power play, or one of the worst penalty kills in the entire league.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to take advantage of it, but it did seem like there was a real focus on getting that puck to Leon Draisaitl. He did have the one-timer that I think went off the side of the net, or Sorokin got him off the side of the net. But was that the issue there? Like,
Cass and I talked about it, and they passed up so many clear shooting lanes last night. Or there was I talked about it yesterday, there was a Ryan McLeod rush where he actually had an inside step to the middle from the blue line in, and he kind of looked it off and did a loop around the net, and I think it resulted in nothing too threatening. So
surprise.
There was a bunch of that. Yes, surprise, absolutely. But that power play really tried to get to Draisaitl, and the Islanders knew, everybody knew it, to the point where it was hurting them. Like, I asked Cass, I'm like, okay, you've got a guy in Sorokin who's one of the best in the National Hockey League. How do you score if you can't skill your way to goals? And the answer is simplify. Get some greasy goals where you shovel them in. And I don't think the Oilers really tried to do that. There was no emphasis on it, and it cost them. It cost them the game.
780-218-9999, 780-218-9999, and we will get to a few of those. RBM says they had a chance on a freaking 5-on-3 on the power play and pissed it away. I actually stopped watching after the shorty because I could tell they did just not have it last night. Plain and simple. Dr. Gonzo says, Dry had a bit more jump at times, so extra piss. Yeah, at times he did, but there was that one play he got hit in the corner and then went behind the net and they just kind of took the puck away from him. It was just like, I think I texted you guys then. I said that was a horrible shift.
Yes.
That was not a good shift. And they've mixed some lines up, so we'll certainly get into that. But you make a good point on the power play last night. It came down to special teams in that game, and they lost the special teams battle to the New York Islanders.
Yeah. Mark texts in, nasty chat, says, guys, do you feel McDavid isn't shooting enough? I haven't looked at any stats, but the guy scored 60-plus last year. I would love to see him be selfish. He had like an ill-timed one-timer yesterday, I think, that got blocked. Also, the Islanders
that was from quite a ways out in a weird
shots.
spot. Yeah.
They did get into lanes. They did a good job protecting the house, and then the Oilers didn't adapt. Does he need to shoot more?
I think on the power play he's not shooting as much as he was last year. Maybe.
Yeah, that's fair.
That might be a way to look at it. I think.
Mark, I think you got something there. I do. It'd be nice to see him shoot. He's got a great shot. He really does. I know I think he still says his shot's like one of his weaker attributes, but the guy's so good, and the way he can fling a puck is it's almost second to none. It's not a heavy shot, but it's damn accurate usually and pretty has some zip on it.
The continuous trying to get Draisaitl the puck on the power play is a little interesting to me because I think everybody knows that when you get the key is you're not getting the puck to Draisaitl on the power play so he can make another play with it. Right? Like you're getting the puck to Draisaitl on the power play in a one-time spot. Right? So everybody knows that's kind of the end game of the Oilers power play. Get it to Draisaitl for a one-timer. Get it to Draisaitl for a one-timer. And if these other teams are just eliminating that, then you're going to have to kind of work your way through another couple of options, I guess, in those situations. Calvin C. says the no-look passes are absolutely triggering me right now.
It's frustrating, man.
They do mix in a few of those.
Yeah.
Hits last night in the hockey game. And this comes back to one team had the puck more. I get it. I understand. But the Islanders had 25 hits in last night's game, and the Oilers had 9.
Yeah.
They're just not very engaged in last night's hockey game from a physical standpoint, I don't think. And it ended up coming back to bite him in the butt. So now you go on this 8-game winning streak, Tommy, and you're still 7 points out of a wild card spot as of today. Like an 8-game winning streak. And we said this, and they crept up to it, right? They were right there. The 8 games put them just outside of a wild card spot, right there behind Arizona. They were very close. Did they slide in even for part of a night, or did they never? I don't think they were.
I think they got within.
They were close. No, they were within 1 point one morning.
Yeah,
I remember one morning. It was when I did a post-game show one night.
Oh,
it was one of the post-game shows I did that night. They were within 1 point of a wild card spot.
And then they had the 5-day break after that, right? Or
no, this was after the break.
Oh, okay.
This was because they won a bunch of games after the break. Right, I did the first. Did I do the first 3 games?
That was end of November. That would have been November 30th, right? And then they had that time off, and then that's where they had these games in hand that they're slowly catching up on, right?
I think they were within 1. I don't know when it was, but I remember on a post-game show one time being like, hey, they've crawled within 1 of a point. And it might have only been for part of the night because one of the teams they were chasing might have still been playing. But I thought for a moment they were there. But they won 8 in a row. Now they dropped 3 in a row, and they're still 7 points out of a wild card spot. That's how difficult it is to make that eventual climb back up into even just a sniff of the playoffs.
And this topic came up yesterday on the pregame show. Someone said they asked if the Oilers go 0 on this first part of the 6 away from home, is the season lost? And I say no. There's lots of hockey left to be played, and they still have a couple games in hand. They're going to have to win all these Western Conference games, especially when they get to California after the Christmas break. And the Oilers, again, they need to keep the focus on the day and the next game. And and we do it naturally and instinctually as fans of the game, as media members, and you try to map out how this will go, and you go, well, geez, they need to win 700. They need to play 700 hockey or 750 hockey just to get to 94 points or whatever it is. When you start thinking like that, I don't think the team can think like that. Fans can, media can, absolutely. Gives us something to talk about. But if you're the team, you put your head down and you worry about the next damn game, and you stop looking at the out-of-town scores. You stop looking at the standings because you can't. It's just gonna be crushing if you do. And you only come up for air when you need a breather. Get updated every 10th game or something like that. See where you're at and go back to work, because that's how they're going to have to do it in the second half of the season. And keep it very short-sighted,
780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Nutsy Dielson says, I'd rather see McLeod start driving the net more than having him driven out of town. You can't keep driving players out of town. There's something there with McLeod, but he needs to play to his strengths. So, I'll ask the question off of it. Is there something there with McLeod?
Yeah.
What is it?
A third-line player, third-line center.
That does what?
Checks well, skates well, wins faceoffs, and kills penalties. It's there. Have we seen it this year?
He doesn't win that many.
Hang on.
He's average.
It's there. I think when we're talking about it's there, have we seen it this year? No. Missing training camp, being hurt, put him behind the 8 ball. They have another year left because he signed a 2-year deal in the offseason. Now this contract is where he's supposed to solidify himself as a third-line center for this franchise for 5 to 10 years. He's not doing it right now. That is abundantly clear. It's frustrating. He passes up opportunities to take pucks to the net. He's a big guy. He's not the thickest, but he's tall, and he does have muscle on his body. It's just a willingness to go to the hard areas, a la Sam Gagner. Sam Gagner will do that. Sam's not the biggest guy. He is, he's not skinny or anything like that, but Sam will go to, Ryan McLeod could learn from watching Sam Gagner play the game. You got to work for some of this stuff. Can Ryan McLeod do that? Yeah, because we've seen little increments of it. This year, very, very small bits of it. I think, 2 weeks ago where he had the 2 games where he got points and goals. One was an empty netter, I know. But he should be capable. He has been able to do that in previous seasons. Started out a great start last season. This year, it hasn't been there at all. And it's frustrating, and people want to kick him out the door. I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to stick with him, have a little bit of patience. They're in win-now mode. This guy needs to wake up, obviously. But there is something there. It's a matter of him turning on the light switch in his mind and making it happen. And I will 100% back everyone up who says he's not doing it right now, because it's frustrating, and he should be doing it, but he's not.
I think you imagine Ryan McLeod to be a player that he's just not capable of being. Because what did you say? You said,
Dusty, when he scored all those goals in the preseason when he was still in junior, he scored them 5 feet out. He scored ugly, greasy goals.
When he was in preseason with the Oilers, when he was still in junior?
Yeah, and it's
But it's a preseason, Tommy, and it's 4 years ago, man.
I know, but how did he score that goal against Minnesota? Was it Minnie, or was it Carolina? That last goal.
The non-empty netter.
He
went to the net untouched.
He went to the net.
He was untouched. There was a battle won behind the net. He was untouched going to the net. It's not like he was in a battle.
He's young enough where he
went empty to the net. He's never gonna do that. He's
not doing it right now.
If we come on an Oil Stream at one point, I'm like, man, I am impressed with Ryan McLeod's willingness to get involed physically, man. I will be stunned.
His face-offs need to be better. His brother is the best in the league face-off.
So McLeod, I'll give him a little bit of a credit here. He's won 51.7% of his draws this year, but he's career 48.7.
Yeah.
So maybe he's getting better. Maybe he's getting better in the face-off circle. This year it looks like. Is this a trend that kind of continues to trend up? Has he learned something? Is there something going on there? But I just don't ever see him getting involved physically. He looks like he wants no part of it.
True.
Guys, McLeod is going to ask for a raise next contract. I'm sure he thinks he's underpaid. He'll price himself out of this team. Well, then see you later.
If he thinks he's...
How does he think he's going to get a raise?
I thinks that. Talking to him, but he's not an idiot.
It would be... That's delusional. That's delusional thinking he's going to get a raise.
I don't think he would think that at all.
No. I don't see that happening.
And it was against Carolina where he scored that goal. Fogle went in, the stick lift on. I think it was
Slavin. It was Slavin, yeah.
And
he got the puck, threw it out to McLeod. McLeod was there alone in front.
28 seconds into the game.
So I don't imagine him being this like third line center who checks well and wins faceoffs. I view him as a soft guy who skates fast.
He is a soft guy who skates fast.
That's it, though. That's all I see. Like,
guys can.
How many guys change?
I'm being optimistic, is what I'm doing.
No, I mean that's good.
I'm rooting for the kid.
Yeah.
I think he's capable of it. It's a matter of him deciding if he wants to play big boy hockey or if he wants to skate really fast on the outside. And right now he's skating fast on the outside. Not a good time to be doing it because this team's season is in not peril just yet, but it's in a spot that's their own doing and bad.
All right, let's get to some changes that they made. And I actually really like these line combinations. It kind of comes back around to what I was thinking where they might go with prior to the last game or 2 games ago, really after that game against Tampa Bay. Future Nielsen show guest Bob Stauffer on the road with the club tweeting these out. McDavid back with Nuge and Hyman. Draisaitl and Kane back together with Fogle. McLeod, Janmark, and Gagne together. Mm-hmm. Hamblin, Ryan, and Ernie. And then Connor Brown as the 13th forward on, I assume, the line rushes today at practice. So there's a few things to discuss. We'll get to Brown in a second. But, Tommy, your thoughts on Nuge getting back up with McDavid and Hyman after only 1 game away?
Yeah, they shouldn't have switched it anyway. I agree.
I was very surprised.
We were talking about balance, but it still struck me. Like, we were going into that game yesterday, and we talked about balance, and I was like, I guess. But that line right now and in recent weeks has looked like it's on a power play 5-on-5.
It looks like the best line in the league.
And Kane, to me, looks like he's starting to get healthier, which I think is a good thing. That play that Draisaitl had yesterday where he scored that goal, I thought that was a nice set piece that they put together. You saw Draisaitl swing deep and Ekholm with the outlet pass. Fogle, nice little play in the neutral zone and a nice shot. Bada bing, bada boom. It's in the back of the net on one of the best goalies in the league. I thought that was a good sign for Draisaitl. I think Kane is looking better. And then you have talked about putting Sam Gagne on that line. Probably better option, certainly, than Janmark. And no offense to Janmark, but he's better suited in the bottom 6. That's where he does his best work. Fogle going up there with Kane and Draisaitl, I thought was a bit odd, but it did, work. Or Nugent Hopkins and Fogle together with Draisaitl yesterday. It did work on that goal. But I think Gagne has the capability at this stage in his career to moonlight in the top 6 when you need somebody who's consistent. Brown hit another post yesterday. It ain't happening for him.
Brown missed the net on a 2-on-1.
Yes, he did.
Luke Gazdick this morning, who is friends with Brown, he had him on the Mitsoff podcast.
He did.
Luke Gazdick said this morning he shot a 2-on-1 into the corner.
He did.
Which is basically what happened.
That's exactly what happened.
And Connor Brown is now the 13th man, at least today. Is Connor Brown scratched tomorrow?
If he is, I think everybody's okay with that. Now, where they'll probably have issue with it is they're like, $4 million. Yes. So far, terrible signing. Has not worked out. Acknowledging the knee injury, all of that. In terms of what he's given you, it's warranted a seat in the press box, especially.
Do you think that helps?
Like, it might. I'm trying to figure out what helps. It might be a wake-up call. It can, because you get embarrassed. He gets embarrassed. Yeah. Okay, he watches a game in New Jersey from the press box. Maybe he sees something. I think people, we always ask as the media, and it happens in every market, is it good to get that perspective from the press box? Maybe give you a different vantage point. They always say yes. Really, they want to say, F you, I should be in the lineup. I get it. It's shame. You're shaming him for not producing, playing poorly. Yes, he had an injury that was significant, but sometimes this rattles a guy's cage, and they wake up, and they start to work and simplify, and maybe he gets a greasy goal, and it doesn't get nullified on an interference call. Like, yes, this is fine. This is warranted, and you can't. And then the people go, well, he's just sitting $4 million. Yeah, you are, because your $4 million is playing like absolute crap. So sit him for a game. Throw in Adam Ernie, let him go and bang and crash, and then take out Ernie in a game or two and put Brown back in and say, do better or else you're sitting again.
Yeah.
No more of this
He's kind of
crap.
been elevated to this role of possible in-and-out guy.
He might be in and out.
Right.
And he's been given ample opportunity on the top two lines to make something happen. It hasn't been there. Yes, he was slow going in the early part of the season, like just catching up rust-wise, the cobwebs, whatever you want to call it. But since then, when he's played, I know he had that injury that kept him out for a few games. He's been largely ineffective. To his credit, keep this in mind, to his credit, he has contributed to a good PK, although lately...
Not recently.
The last 3 games, they've leaked goals, and then last night, his stick and Desharnais' stick, puck got through on a goal that led to the loss.
Parts of the Oil Stream brought to you by Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen. We sit here in the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studios at Edmonton Sports Talk. They've got 5 flavors of wings now available. The Signature Hot, the Honey Garlic, the Honey Barbecue, the Garlic Parm, and the Ghost Pepper. $9.99 for 6 huge breaded wings. You'll absolutely love them. DoorDash, skip the dishes, and Uber Eats to get them delivered to wherever you are watching or listening to the Oil Stream from right now. This text is in. It says, McLeod is a less tough, less skilled Nuge.
Well, Hontorio moans with that
skates
one.
better than Nuge. I mean, I'll say that.
Yeah,
I'll
he
give him
does.
that.
He does. Nugent Hopkins is an excellent NHL player.
Yeah, he is.
Ryan McLeod could learn a lot of things from Ryan Nugent Hopkins. Although I think Ryan Nugent Hopkins is a tremendous hockey player. You don't get 104 points for no reason. And I know he was on the best power play, but he's an important part of that power play. He's on the PK. He's an excellent NHL player.
Jason says, it's not like Brown is not trying, so why shame him by scratching him?
Because his whatever effort he's giving is leading to 0 results or negative results. Sometimes a guy needs his cage rattled. Listen, man, you're skating hard. You're doing stuff. But as Matt Cassian says, it's generally with no intentionality, so it gets you nowhere. Wake that up. That's what the coach is saying.
Chaos Never Died chimes in and says, Leon blows 5v5, Frankenstein legs 90% of the time, blind passes and easy giveaways.
Yeah, there's some bad blind passes.
There were some, he is
games.
straight-legged quite a bit recently.
Yeah. There's been a couple of plays in the last few games where you're just like, what do you call it, Frankenstein legs?
Yeah, Frankenstein legs. Yeah, it's kind of funny, actually. Yeah.
Where Leon would make a pass, and I think Rashog and I a couple times the other night before the homestand ended, we're like, no, and then terrible pass goes back the other way. No, yeah, there it is.
Just saw it coming. Eh?
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Guys, when do we see Gleason in for Vinny?
I don't know. I don't think there's an onus to get
it?
Gleason in. I think he's just there.
Rewarding him for a nice preseason, decent American League, had to call somebody up to, like, are you hurting your organization in any way by not playing Gleason right now, right? Like,
No.
I don't think so.
No.
Although I would be interested.
If and when he gets in,
Yeah, I mean, I'd be
all right.
interested to see him
I think he'd be all right.
as a more mobile puck mover than Desharnais on the third pair. You know, he's a very different defenseman
Yeah.
than Vincent Desharnais. So, yeah, I don't know. I think that's an interesting way to look at it. Portions of the Oil Stream brought to you by One Putt. If you are looking for something to do over the holidays, maybe with some friends or with some family, you can get that done at One Putt. One Putt's virtual golf winter league signup is now open. 8 weeks of flexible 18-hole league games that you can play based on your schedule. Starts December 27th, ends on February 18th. You can also play your league games with friends who are not in the league as well. So you want to go play with some buddies, you can get in a league game while they're just playing the regular game. You can sign up for $350. That includes 8 hours of golf and your league fees. Or you can pay the league fees, $50, and then just pay for your hours at their regular rates. How about this? This is awesome, too. They also have a free to join, so no entry fee, 2-player scramble event going on right now until December 31st with over $700 in prizes. So this is just straight up go win that money. You don't even need to pay to join the 2-player scramble event. For more info on that, you can visit them at oneputt.ca or follow them on Instagram at oneputtYEG. How Draisaitl ties his skates and how he wears his socks affects his knee bend and gives him the Frankenstein legs. What do you think about that, Tommy?
Is it just the look we're talking about, the aesthetic, or how he actually skates?
I think they're saying the way he looks on the ice impacts his knee bend when he plays. I think that's what that message is saying.
Is it just, hey, his shin pad / skates just make him look that way? Or are we saying what kind of shin pads and how he puts them on and how he has his skates and socks has a direct result on his skating ability? We need to differentiate between the two. Because he does have a weird look.
Does he have his ankles taped?
No, he doesn't.
What's this?
He's one of the few guys that puts the sock
over top. Marshall does that too. Marshall Nielson.
He's got. I thought he was a Bartholomew as well. You passed that legacy down from HR Daddy. I'm kidding. Hello, HR Daddy and Nasty Nana.
I'm just looking at this one picture. I mean, it's just one picture of him.
Not a lot of guys do that anymore. They either have both the shin pad tucked in all the way,
or the back of it,
or the back.
But does that not look like hockey tape right there? What is that? Take a look. Here, well, I can't.
No, I'll just look it up.
No, it's tough. I
don't think he does. I mean,
the picture. I mean, that's just one picture, but I'm looking at it, and it looks like there's hockey tape really low at the bottom of his. I don't know.
Let's see.
Have you seen the same picture? You see the picture?
I'm looking at it right now.
Look at the bottom there. I don't know what's on.
Let me see.
I gotta take a closer look at this.
Open link in new tab. I'm looking at it.
It's from April 24th tweet, 2023.
Oh yeah, it looks like he has sock. It
looks like there's sock tape at the bottom.
No, that's not even sock tape. That looks like stick tape.
Yeah, stick tape. Yeah, sorry, that's what I mean. Stick tape, white tape.
I think it's just because he has the sock over top of both the front.
Yeah, but that's tape going right around his ankles there, though. That's weird. Is he always like that, or is that just why would he only be like that one time?
I don't know, but he skates fine when he wants to.
Yeah, well, and this is the thing. This is what it comes back around to with Leon, I think.
That's why I asked, is this an aesthetic thing, and that's why we have that opinion? Or is this, hey, the way he does it affects his skating ability? Because that I don't believe 1 second. If it's the aesthetic of it making him look like, quote-unquote, Frankenstein legs, okay, yeah, sure. But, when he wants to skate fast like he did yesterday, he's more than capable. Sometimes he's a little lethargic getting off the ice. Or around the ice. And it annoys people, and I understand.
Jenna Sills says Connor Brown would bench Connor Brown at this point.
If I was playing like that, I would bench myself. I'd be like, take me out, coach. I'm playing like crap. Skate me. I don't know.
Coach Mike on the text line, 780-218-9999. Do you go back to Skinner on Thursday?
No.
Or does Pickard get New Jersey on the first of back-to-backs?
You need your best goalie against the Rangers. Pickard played really well against the Devils less than 2 weeks ago. Knobloch.
That's a good point. He did play against the Devils.
Outlined the plan for these 3 games in the New York area. He said he would go with his starter twice, Stuart Skinner, and Pickard would get in there. And pretty sure we're going to see Pickard tomorrow, and then Skinner on Friday, and then they reset after the Christmas break.
I love that we've got to a point here with this 3-game losing streak that we're questioning the way Leon Draisaitl ties or tapes his skates, and he's not doing the knee bend because of the way that a guy who's been a Hart Trophy winner in this league,
Art Ross, Hart Trophy,
I mean, I don't know why there's white tape on the bottom of his legs there.
Who cares? It works.
Yeah, but it's kind of weird for an NHL player to tape his ankles.
One of the best NHL players.
Yeah, no, it's just kind of strange. I never saw that before. I don't even know if that's a regular thing. It looks like his socks have just kind of come up there a bit.
Does Yager look like Yager played in the NHL for 25 years, still playing to this day? Does he look like a normal NHL player with style? Well, I think it's just an aesthetic thing.
He was the coolest dude of all time. I mean,
well, he had the poofiest hair.
Tough to argue with.
Anyway.
No, I mean, look. The way Leon ties or whatever he does with his skates does not impact the effort that's not there sometimes. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh man, Leon can't bend his knees because his skates are tied weird or whatever. That's not, it's just that, sometimes recently, and he scored last night for goodness sakes.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes recently I can see why people would be a little frustrated. I think that's fair.
People want solutions. That's the other thing I've learned doing the pre- and post-game show for 4 or 5 seasons now. They want solutions, and they're willing to explore everything in oil country. And I actually admire and respect that. Some of it is out
Leon
to lunch.
Discussion right now, yeah.
Yeah, some of it is pretty valid, and then some of it's just in between. But that's an interesting one. I think who texted that in, because I think they're talking just aesthetically, making it look like.
No, I don't think so, man.
Are you thinking
actual it's in
function?
the nasty chat, and I think they're actually legitimately thinking
the
Frankenstein legs are like the.
No, yeah. I don't buy that.
I think it was a legit take.
Legit, like it affects his skating ability. Yeah. No, I disagree 100%.
Yeah, right here. D-Man said how
says,
Draisaitl ties his skates and how he wears his socks affects his knee bend and gives him the Frankenstein legs.
I disagree.
So that was out there.
Like, I don't think it has a negative impact on his skating ability. He's a tremendous skater.
Nazi Nielson says, Dusty, maybe it's not lack of effort. Maybe he's so exhausted from being laced up wrong.
Perhaps.
You guys are hilarious.
That's the beauty of what we do in this market to a certain extent. Is like let's explore some possibilities, see what sticks. I don't think that's one of them. D-Man, I appreciate that though. And hey, if you think that, that's fine. He does have a very upright style of skating though.
Yeah, but he can go.
Exactly.
Like when he wants to go, Leon Draisaitl, he can move.
Yeah.
He can move. But it's more of an upright style of skating.
Bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like the power and his it's a different way of getting there. But it gets there.
Pat is wondering if this is kind of where we can go for the last 10 minutes. I think I saw Tensor last night on my 3 quick thoughts thread reply and be like, at some point you have to. Let me bring it up. I don't want to misquote, but it was a interesting one. As always, parts of the Oil Stream brought to you by our great partners over at CoolBet. We did not hit the EST parlay last night. We had the Oilers money line. We had McDavid over 2 points or over 1.5 points, and we had the goal from Evander Kane, which did not happen in last night's hockey game. But yeah, so last night I threw a quick 3 thoughts on the game. Man, I tweet a lot.
You do.
I got to go back quite a ways here. Here we go. So the 3 quick thoughts were they didn't deserve any better, which I don't think they did. Special teams disaster tonight as opposed to brilliant during the winning streak, and then the line shuffle clearly didn't work. Right back to Nuge, McDavid, and Hyman, right?
Yeah.
And that is what they did today. But then Tensor says, when does the group get a roster move to help them? So, they've done the coach thing, right? They didn't make a roster move. They did the coach thing. I don't count Broberg going down as being a non-factor anyway as a roster move. So basically, Tensor was, and there was a lot of replies to Dan's comment. Thanks, Dan, for chiming in there.
Hello, Dan.
They're just so streaky. It's like win 3, win 4, lose 3, win 8, lose 3, lose 4 type of thing. Mm-hmm. So it's weird because you look really good for a while. Why would you touch that? And then start to panic, and you go, oh, okay, well, and then I have to do something. And then you start winning again. You go, oh, don't have to worry. You don't have to touch it. Right? I think there's a couple times, we've seen it. It's a roller coaster. I've got to trade for this guy, got to trade for this guy, got to trade for that guy. Oh, no, leave it alone. Yeah. They look near perfect, which they did for 8 games. They looked absolutely amazing. But where do you think, Tommy, like what do you think is sort of the time frame for a roster bump, if possible?
Someone asked yesterday if it's realistic that they make a move before mid-January. I don't think so. I don't think it's likely. I would like to see it, to allude to what Dan's saying, get that jolt, like a shake-up, wake the guys up, because clearly the Campbell send-down and the Broberg send-down, like those were little ones. They did go on that little heater, but we're talking like trade. Man. I honestly don't think it is till like mid-February. That's my guess. Just with how everything's gone, what the market's like, what kind of deals have we seen in recent weeks? Keep in mind the roster freeze, I think, kicks in right away here for Christmas.
Yeah.
But what kind of deals have we seen this season? Like the Islanders traded for Robert Bortuzzo because they have 3 guys out of the lineup of their top 5 D-men. Robert Bortuzzo. And then the other one we saw was Tomas Tatar being flipped to Seattle from Colorado because it wasn't working in Colorado, so they just got him out of there. And Tatar's been a suitcase the last few years. So outside of that, like, impact trades haven't really happened. It's been like necessity deals, waiver claims. All these teams are tight against the cap. I appreciate a Kyle Dubas getting creative with Toronto and Pittsburgh and all that, but I still think it's unlikely until like mid-February, like getting closer to trade deadline. When teams know they're out of it, they're desperate, and then they are trading from a position of weakness. That's my take. I could be wrong. I fully acknowledge that, but just with the environment and how it is right now, that's my best guess.
I think the only way they're moving on something prior to January 15th or in middle January, somewhere in there, would be if like they drop the games to New Jersey and the Rangers and then only win like one down in California before New Year's. Then all of a sudden, then you would have lost. That'd be 5. That'd be like 7 of 8. That's not going to happen, which is why I don't think we'll see some sort of deal prior to that, because that seems a little too much. Obviously, someone should have told Leon about his skates back when he scored 52 last year. This one is on us because D-Man doubled down and goes, Leon doesn't have a proper Y angle or knee bend because the tight lacing up high. It acts like a ski boot.
I'll tell him when he gets back. I'll send him a message today.
Tell him D-Man.
I'll just shoot him a note today.
Yeah,
hey,
tell him D-Man says, dude, you got to tighten your laces up lower, flip the socks up so we can see that ankle being free.
Yeah.
And then that'll help with the knee bend.
The reason why you're not scoring at a 50-goal clip this year, 120-ish points, is because you're putting some weird tape at the bottom of your skate, and you're flipping the whole sock over the back and front tongue.
I do have some empathy for him because as a big guy, I do wrap my skates once.
Do you?
I still do.
That makes it super tight.
But the tape around the ankles would make it super tight too. Like that's why I'm very surprised.
Thing.
Like it moves extremely well with it. That must be just a one photo or something.
No, I'm sure he does it regularly.
I wonder how many guys in the league actually tape their ankles like that.
He does it differently.
Like it's very frowned upon even for kids nowadays. Like you're like, don't wrap them, don't tape them, don't do anything. But
it works for him.
I mean, the guy's won a Hart. He scored 60. He scored 52. Like whatever works for him has to work with him. Everybody.
I'm not telling him to change the way he ties his skates / works his lower shin guard.
Just go win a game. Just go win a game so we don't have to talk about Leon Draisaitl's knee bend for a little bit.
I'll go up to him in the room. Hey, Leon, let's work on that shin pad game, please. And you'll watch you. You're going to benefit. And you're going to score another 100 points this season.
He's a bigger guy. Us bigger guys like a little bit more support on the ankles, man. That's just how it works. All right. So that's pretty much going to do it for the oil stream today. This is a fun conversation.
Yeah.
Do you think that probably a split coming up here?
I hope so. For the sake of
like
everybody.
A split.
I think so. I don't know where. Like they might lose to New Jersey, and we might have chaos tomorrow in the post game. But then they bounce back at MSG, which is not an easy building. That Rangers team is good, but I think they get one of these next two. At least 2 of 2 would be fantastic.
2 of 2 would be great. 1 of 2 you got to have.
And then all these 4-point games coming up in the Western Conference against California teams in the division. Just go out and win them. You've pissed away enough points already this year. Simple as that.
If you drop both of these and you've lost 5 in a row going into Christmas, it pretty much negates the 8 in a row that you won because prior to that 8, you lost 3 before.
Yeah.
So that'd be like in your last 16, you're 500. You won 8, you lost 8. So they got to get one of the two. And we'll see how it plays out. Tommy, you have fun tomorrow morning
Thanks,
here on the Nielsen Show. Myself and Lieutenant Eric are done. I'll be back in the new year. You've got pre and post throughout the holidays. What's the plan? What's the plan for the holidays here, buddy?
It's Glue Guy and myself and YouTube Trev tomorrow. We're looking forward to being good stewards of your show. You're in good hands, as you know. Holidays, just keeping it around the city, and we're gonna celebrate at my parents' new home. It's been a wild time for the family. We've got some stuff going on that has been tough.
That's been tough for you guys.
Yeah, so it's gonna be good to be together, and it's gonna be a quiet Christmas, I think, but that's okay.
And quiet Christmases are great.
I'm looking forward to
They
it,
are.
honestly. And you know
enjoy.
what? This last 4 months basically has been a wild ride, and I think all of us need a quick breather before we kick it into high gear again. So we'll do that.
Yeah, I got to wrap because I got a business call at 1 o'clock here.
Oh, yeah.
But after that, I'm done.
You're done.
After that, I'm done until Saturday when I leave for work for 12 days. But then after that, I'll come back and have some time with the family.
Yeah.
So that'll be nice. So, thanks to everybody for supporting Edmonton Sports Talk. We love you. We're just hopefully continuing to grow here in the new year, and your support will certainly help us do that. Huge thanks to CoolBet, One Putt Virtual Golf. Hit them up during the holidays. Popeyes, you still got to try those new wings if you haven't.
Yes.
We're not messing around with you. They are absolutely delicious. And then when you're going to watch Oilers games, man, get it done at Boston Pizza. $5 off those medium pizzas. You cannot go wrong. Merry Christmas, everybody. Thank you for joining. I could do a little bit more on that Rocky pick. I don't necessarily love
Just
it, but it
leave
was
it.
Christmas
You're
Day when
trying
he
to
beat
justify
Drago.
crap.
All right, Tommy. See you later, bud.
I love you.